Jesse Farr here from Bristle Up Hunting Supplies in Queensland, Australia. Today we're taking a look at the Pulsar Thermion XL50, a high definition sensor scope that has exceptional image quality with a very wide field of view. Now we're going to take a look at the image quality from 10 meters out to 300 meters at different zoom levels on our test subjects here, our very patient dogs, and just see how good the image quality is. Now, Pulsar has an exceptional reputation in Australia and around the world for their precision, accuracy, and the overall refinement of their products. The Thermion XL50 has an integrated rangefinder with a ballistics calculation, extremely accurate, and has low latency, something that isn't often discussed amongst thermals. With the wide field of view, it gives you exceptional image quality and field of view at close range and long range, allowing you to take some incredible shots, but also have a nice wide field of view for those close shots or when your target is on the move. That is why latency is very important. The time at which it takes for the scope to show you what is actually happening in reality can drastically affect your shot placement, particularly on moving targets. So if you do a lot of shooting where your target is on the move, this will definitely be a product worth considering. Pulsar thermals have been trusted amongst the professionals in Australia for a long time now, particularly around being reliable, accurate, and having low latency. Now here at Bristle Up, we pride ourselves in offering the best advice and after sales service. So if you have any questions or you can't decide on what's right for you, give us a ring and we can offer you the pros and cons and help you decide. That does it for the image quality test. Let's take a look at the product overall. Alright, so we've got our Thermion 2 XL50 here, HD sensor, and we're going to take a quick look at what you get with it and what's in the box. I've taken everything out of the box already, but let's take a look at the bag here. So you get a zip up bag, manuals, and all your gear fits in there nicely. Let's take that to the side. Now obviously you get your awesome thermal imaging scope there. And then we get extra 2 batteries, a shorter and a longer one. If you use the longer one, you will need to use the additional longer cap to allow it to fit into the scope there. Then we have our wireless remote control here, which you can attach to somewhere on your rifle to allow quick access to the controls. And then we have our charging cradle and charging cable. So battery life is around 10 hours. They claim a guaranteed 10 hours. A good thing about Pulsar gear is they turn on and off very quickly, some of the fastest startup time in the market. So if you do want to turn it off when you're not using it throughout the hunt, you can and quickly turn it on and you will have it turned on ready to get into the action. Alright, let's take a bit of a closer look and discuss this device. I'm not going to do a massive in-depth full review like I usually do. I've just decided that I just don't have time to do it with every single product. I put it on my list to do and it just never gets done because so much is involved in the really in-depth reviews. So we're going to start doing quick reviews in addition to our longer reviews. So this will cover the image quality as well as we'll discuss the basics of the device because pretty much everything else is the same for what you'll see on other videos on YouTube and such. So this design has been the same for quite a while now. Not much has changed. The operation and zeroing and the menu system and all that is pretty much the same, so there's not much point us going over that again. Anyway, let's start discussing the device, the specs and what we think of it. Hopefully help you decide whether it's the right device for you. Alright, so Pulsar has a world-renowned reputation for quality and reliability, and that applies in Australia as well. It's one of the longest standing brands in Australia. Very popular with contract culling and pest controllers due to this reliability. But that doesn't mean that other products aren't as good, but Pulsar has definitely set their reputation up in Australia very well. Pulsar also has very good designs, so they're usually the first to introduce new features. Well, they have been of recent, so they've had an integrated rangefinder into their tube style scopes for a long time now. ahead of the competition in that regard. Now the scope is very light, so it only comes in at about 1 kilo. It uses 30mm rings as standard and has a max recoil up to a 375. With the 10 hours of guaranteed battery life that they're saying it can produce. Now it does support Wi-Fi through to your tablet or your phone. You can have multiple profiles up to 10, and there's many different reticle options, as well as many different color palettes as per usual. We have freeze frame zeroing and very reliable accuracy. Now, as you'll see up the front here, we have our rangefinder housing and our on and off switch, as well as our focus knob here. So this will focus in your image quality. Then we move down and we have our battery compartment there. We can put our extra batteries in there. We have our menu and navigation ring here. And on this side, we have access to our USB-C for charging and for data transfer. And then we move down and we have our rangefinder button, record button, and our zoom in and out button. Now I won't go into what every function does exactly. Some of these buttons do more than one thing, but if you press your zoom, single press, it'll start to zoom in increments, jumping through the zoom levels. But if you just single press it and then you go to your scroll wheel, that'll allow you to smooth zoom in and out. So single press to activate the zooming functions, and then smooth zooming with your scroll wheel there, which is pretty handy. Then down the front here we have our rubber eyepiece, which is very nice and comfortable for operation there. So the rangefinder can go out to 800 meters, and it supports ballistics calculation, which is really good. Pulsar does an awesome job on that, but that's the very basics of it. That's about all you need to know at this point in time. There will be plenty of other videos out there, and the manual covers everything. Now, as discussed earlier, you do get a remote control, a wireless remote control, which gives you access to the most important functions. So to allow you to use it, and you've got your little scroll wheel there and button. So it pretty much allows you to use the device from this remote, which is awesome. Now, typically speaking, the recordings we get off a Pulsar device are pretty close, if not identical, to what you see through it, which is awesome. Some other brands struggle to produce good recordings, so if you're into making videos, this is a plus. The microphone in this one's not too bad. So the audio quality is half decent if you're into making videos as well. So the XL50 does have a very wide field of view, 1.75 base mag, which a lot of people are sort of a little bit concerned about, but so far I think it's not a massive issue. The image quality is still very good out to the longer distances, at least to the distances that the majority of people are planning to shoot at. I would have liked to seen the base mag a bit higher, but this is what they've given us. But ultimately, the image quality is still very, very good on this device, as seen in the recordings. Now, there is some pros and cons to having a low base mag, but typically speaking, a pro would be if you're doing a lot of close shooting, whether it be rabbits or pigs or moving targets, having a wide field of view is beneficial for tracking. If you're shooting longer distances, then the con is that the image quality won't be as good because of that lower base mag. But as you can see out to 300 meters, this it works perfectly fine. So for the animals that we've got for our image comparison there, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. Now the millikelvin on this device is sub 35. Not the best on the market. A lot of people are going to the 20, 25s now, even lower, which that can affect how good the image is in difficult situations like fog and so on and so forth, when there's a lot of moisture in the air and such. I wouldn't worry about it too much. It seems to not affect this device a whole lot because it does have a lot of pixels to work with, unless that's a specific need of yours, depending on the conditions you hunt in. But so far the image quality seems very good in our testing. Now the detection range on this is out to 2,300 meters. Their detection distance have always been really good and legitimate, so that's awesome. Alright guys, I hope that helps you decide whether this device is right for you. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go through all the nooks and crannies and every little detail of this device. Just don't have time to do that on every single review we do, unfortunately. But if you have any questions, give us a ring. If you need help deciding what device is right for you, I'm happy to discuss the pros and cons with you and help you get the device that's right for your needs. So I look forward to chatting to you, and thanks for watching.